One could argue that the most popular boat in the saltwater center console market today from a sales standpoint is the 20 to 25 foot bay hybrid style boat. Now there's a lot of desirable features about a boat like this that make them really popular. There's also a lot of features that are going to prevent most people from owning a boat like the one I'm standing on. We're going to dig into some of those factors on this 220 IS from Savannah Boat Works. I'm George LaBonte and this is Mission Boating.
Today on Mission Boating, our host, Captain George LaBonte, steps aboard the Savannah 220 IS, a bay boat with a V-bottom hull, designed with the angler in mind to excel in both inshore and light offshore fishing scenarios while delivering a dry, comfortable ride. The Savannah 220 IS has an overall length of 22 feet, a beam of 8 feet 6 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 250. With a draft of 13 inches, a dead rise of 20 degrees, a dry weight of 3,500 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 65 gallons, she can easily troll across the shallows and slice through a wind chop off the beach. Equipped with a single Suzuki 200 4-stroke outboard, a full tank of fuel, and 2 people on board, she averaged a cruise speed of 34 knots at 4,000 RPM and a top speed of 47 knots at 5,500 RPM. Now, let's check in with our host to learn more about the Savannah 220 IS.
To start things out today, let's jump right into what exactly makes this style of boat such a popular boat in today's marketplace. And honestly, I see it immediately when I jump on a boat like this 220. It's a very practical boat that does a lot of things, and versatility is really important to people. When you're going to spend the kind of money it takes to get into this realm of boating, you know, the more things the boat will do for you, the more useful the boat's going to be in the long run. And a bay boat such as this really wears a lot of hats. I mean, from a versatility standpoint, it's going to take you back into shallow water and let you fish and do a lot of things that you could do on a smaller 16 or 17 foot type of polling skiff and fish in the backwater. Now, you're not going to go chasing bonefish around in a boat like this, but it'll get you back up onto the flats and get you into the shallow water realm where you can do that kind of fishing. And from there, you could go in the same day off the inlet and even go offshore and fish, and you could catch a sailfish on a boat like this. Now, when we use the term bay boat or bay hybrid, boats like this come in a bunch of different configurations, and that depends on your particular needs in a boat. We've been on a 21-foot version of a bay boat that's built by Savannah Boat Works too, and that boat had a notched out front with seating in the front and backrest and more kind of set up for fishing for sure, but also more useful in a sandbar kind of family environment. Now, this particular configuration is really geared more towards somebody that is straight ahead hardcore fishing and doesn't need any creature comforts. They would rather sacrifice that in exchange for fishing functionality. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when I talk about that is the foredeck is glassed completely over on this model. The entire front of the boat is a casting platform, and what that's going to do for you is that's going to enable you to fish a couple of guys from the bow without bumping into each other. You've got plenty of room to work around there and cast, and if you're the type of person that likes to go sight fish in shallow water or anywhere for that matter, being able to stand up on that foredeck is really useful. Another factor that's going to come into play is when you do glass over that foredeck, you're creating a tremendous amount of storage space up there. The one large hatch that's underneath the foredeck here, this hatch gets you access all the way to the forward bulkhead by the anchor locker here, and the entire space is useful storage. Now, for a boat like this, it's an open boat, so storage is key. I mean, there's a lot of gear that comes with fishing. You're gonna have wet bags, tackle boxes, cast nets, maybe all that stuff has to go somewhere, and creating that much space in the front of the boat allows you a place to put all your gear without having to trip over it on the deck all day long. Now, if we look at the back of this boat, we've similarly got a casting deck back here. It's not as big as the bow casting deck, but it's plenty big enough for a guy to walk back and forth on and fish from the rear of the boat. And this casting surface is nice and clean. It too enables you to put stuff to use underneath the decks. On this model, there's a large live well right here in the center, and the space on the port side is possible for you to plumb up as a live well, but we've got it rigged up today on this boat as an insulated cooler. Now on the starboard side, there's also a hatch here that allows you bilge access, your batteries and so forth, wiring, battery switches in there. The 220 IS from Savannah Boat Works is a perfect example of how using just fishing tools to your advantage is going to make a boat that a guy like me is really going to appreciate. I want really fishing oriented features only on a boat, and this boat has got you covered there. As I said, more things to break, that's not for me. I want useful fishing features, and they're all over this boat. Now when I talk about features too, there's options that we can add to this boat. The boat, the way we see it, is a bare bones stripped down platform, and it's possible for you to build it up to your liking. For example, you can take this one here, looks like it's pre-wired. It is. It's pre-wired for a trolling motor. If you want to add a trolling motor, which I certainly would on a boat like this, you're going to put that on the bow. If you want to put power poles in the back or some kind of a stake anchor system in the back, you would do that. I would absolutely do that to a boat like this. When you start adding features like that to the boat, you're building out the boat to suit your needs. Now, an important factor that the builder has got to address when they're putting a boat together that's like this, a bay-style boat, you're trying to build a boat that'll go in shallow water, but will also handle a really fast, nasty chop at the same time. And you know, there's compromises in both sides of that argument. If your boat's going to go shallow, you need to flatten the bottom out. And to flatten the bottom out, you're going to make the boat ride rough. There's no other way to say it. The way to make the boat ride nicer is to add a little bit of dead rise on the bottom, which when you do that, of course, you create more draft. And the more draft you need, I mean, that's going to limit your ability to go shallow. Now, Savannah Boat Works has found a happy medium for this model. The amount of dead rise in this boat enables you to go in some chop. Now, I ran this boat pretty hard in some chop today that really, I mean, would just crush a flats boat. And this boat handles that kind of chop beautifully. Now you might ask yourself, if a 20 to 25 foot bay hybrid style boat is so fantastic, why doesn't everybody in your neighborhood have one on a trailer in their driveway? And there's certainly a limiting factor to any boat that you're going to own, the most important one being price. And the reason why there's not a boat in every single driveway in your neighborhood is because boats cost a lot of money. Now Savannah Boat Works has really done a really good job at making an affordable boat that is still a high quality product, and we've seen that in the other couple of boats that we've been on, and this 220 IS is no different. And this boat is really a great example of how it's possible for a company to build a quality product that does everything that the $200,000 boat will do and make it within a realm of reasonability for somebody that's a working guy that wants to own a boat like this. And to give you an example, this particular model, as I said, is a stripped down version of this boat, comes in right at about $65,000. Now that's an entry-level price for a boat that's going to do a lot of different things. And as long as Savannah Boat Works is able to sell these boats and feel like they're making enough money doing it, that says a lot about the boating industry, and it makes a strong case for you to give this boat a hard look if you're looking for a boat in this class. I'm George LaBonte from Mission Boating, and this is the Savannah Boat Works 220 IS.
Mission Boating, the ultimate marine resource.